Imagine being far from home, starting a new chapter in a foreign country. That was me, almost 20 years ago. I had no idea what to expect. I was excited, nervous, and a little scared. Today, I'm sharing my journey and the lessons I learned along the way, so if you're thinking about moving to Europe, you'll know what to expect. Part 1: The journey begins. My journey to Europe started with so many questions. How do I even get there? What do I need to pack? What will happen when I arrive? I had to figure out everything, from buying a flight ticket to understanding what documents I needed. I remember being so nervous about not having everything right, but once I had my ticket and my documents sorted, I felt a little more at ease. It was still scary, though. I didn't know what would happen when I arrived, or if I would be able to adjust to the new environment. It's one of those things you can never really prepare for. But once I got there, I realized that everything I had learned and planned wasn't enough. I had to be ready for the unexpected. Part 2: My first experience with immigration. When I finally landed, I was immediately hit with the immigration process. The long lines, the offices asking questions, the feeling that everything had to be perfect. I remember being so worried about my documents. Would they be okay? Would they send me back? I had to stay calm and be prepared for anything. The officers checked my papers carefully. They didn't speak much, and I didn't either. I had practiced a few words in the language, but I could tell that my accent was strong, and that made me nervous. Still, the process went smoothly. The best advice I can give is, make sure you have all the right papers. Double check everything before you leave. And, most importantly, stay calm. Part 3: The first encounter with the police. After immigration, things didn't get easier right away. I had to go through more checks, and there were police everywhere, making sure everyone was following the rules. The first time I was stopped, I didn't understand what was going on. The police officer asked for my papers again, and I started to panic. But then I realized, they were just doing the job. I was just a little overwhelmed by all the uniformed officers, but I realized it wasn't personal. They wanted to make sure I was safe and following the law. What I learned is that you can't take things personally. When you're in a new place, you have to respect the rules. Carry your ID and always know what's required of you. Part 4: The struggles with the language. One of the biggest challenges was the language. I didn't speak the local language fluently, and I remember feeling lost sometimes when I tried to communicate. It was hard to ask for directions, understand signs, or even buy food at a restaurant. I felt embarrassed many times because I didn't know how to express myself properly. But then, I realized that everyone struggles when learning a new language. It's okay to make mistakes. I had to practice every day, speak with locals, and not be afraid to ask questions, even if I sounded funny. Learning the language was slow at first, but it opened up so many doors. If you're moving to a new country, I recommend learning the basics before you arrive. Even if you don't speak perfectly, just making the effort shows that you're trying. Part 5: Adapting to new culture and systems. Adjusting to life in Europe wasn't just about the paperwork. It was about adapting to a new way of life, different food, customs, and even how people interact. The rules and systems are different from what I knew back home. For example, I had to learn how to use public transportation, understand the healthcare system, and know how to pay bills. I remember feeling lost at times, but I kept learning and adjusting. One thing I would tell anyone new to Europe is, be patient. Things take time. Don't expect everything to feel natural right away. Conclusion: looking back, those first few months were tough, but they shaped who I am today. Moving to a new country is never easy. You'll face challenges, but you'll also grow in ways you never imagined. My advice: stay calm, stay prepared, and be patient with yourself. Remember that every step of the journey counts, and you will learn and adapt as you go. If you're thinking of making the move, don't be afraid to take that first step. It's all part of the adventure.